I made these today and I'm going to show you how. So I started off by selecting my mold. This one has become one of my favorites to use to make pendants and earrings, and I am just starting off by adding clear 2-part epoxy resin to the cavities. And that is because today I will be trying to achieve the gemstone effect, not using iridescent powder like I did the last time. I am using just regular mica powder. I'm also trying to see if I can achieve the gemstone effect look by using colored resin and then adding the powder behind it. So that is why I added yellow and a little bit of white to that resin to try and create this new effect. So we'll see how that works out. A lot of resin artistry is about experimenting. You may never know which combination, which effect is going to just blow you away. So never be afraid to try. And that's what I'm doing here. I have no idea how this new effect thing is going to work out, but I'm not afraid to try it, and neither should you be afraid to try different things. So far, I've tried different resin effects, and my favorite, well, I've tried a few effects to be fair, and my favorite by far is the velvet effect. I love the gemstone effect, but my favorite by far is the velvet effect, and that is what I'm doing here. So even though that's not what I set out to do, I couldn't let this opportunity pass without trying to get a few pieces in with the velvet effect. In editing this video, I realized that I did not capture that art that I'm doing the velvet effect with now. So I apologize for that. Basically, it's just clear resin, a little bit of gold foil, gold and blue foil, and then I waited for an hour. So this is about an hour after I did the initial pour that I am adding these little plastic bags that are cut up to create the velvet effect. If you are a resin artist, I would love to know what your favorite effect is. And if you are new to resin, if you're learning, I would love to know which effect you prefer or which ones you really want to try so far of all that you have seen. So this is 6 or 7 hours later, and the resin is cured at this point, or it's solid. It's not fully cured, but it's solid. And so I am going in now and I'm putting in the powder to create the gemstone effect. So this powder here is my favorite when I did the velvet effect, and it's indigo blue. So I'm adding that one. Now I am adding iridescent blue to these ones over here. Even though I did not set out to use the iridescent blue or any iridescent color, I love the iridescent blue. That's my favorite mica powder so far. So that's why I'm using it. This one is Fanta Pearl. It looks more orange pinkish, but yeah, that's what it's called, Fanta Pearl. And it's a makeup powder. But really it's mica powder with titanium dioxide and a couple other ingredients, so it's fine to use in resin. This one here is bright red, and I'm adding it to a few of the big pieces. And then I'm coming in with violet. And yes, I added it to those teeny tiny little cavities there. This now is dark green that I'm adding. And I'm going back in with indigo blue. It's now time to add the backing to these pieces, and I realized that I did not put powder on 2 of them. Alright, so for the backing, I'm just using 2-part epoxy resin again, and I added black resin pigment to make the color opaque. And I'm doing everything in my power to not overfill the cavities. because the cleanup would be so much more. In order to add backing to the tiny cavities, I had to use that little stir stick, that toothpick, because otherwise it would have been such a huge mess. And for the smaller cavities, that's generally the case. I had to get some help to guide the resin into the cavities. For the velvet ones, the ones that I did the plastic bag on, it was so important to not push down too much so that the plastic doesn't rise above the top of the cavity. I think I did a fairly good job with most of them, but I'm sure there were one or two that had the resin rising above it, not by much. So the finish was not that pretty. All right, so this is everything. Now it's time. This is the best part of it all, to see the results. And I was so happy. Of course, I went for a velvet effect one first because that's my favorite one. And I was very interested to see how these ones would turn out with the two color resin. And that I gotta say, I did not like those ones very much. I really enjoyed this part in seeing what each piece turned out to be. I was very happy with the gemstone effect, even though the gemstone effect didn't look very gemstoney, if that's a word. It didn't look so much like a gemstone as the other ones did that I used the chameleon iridescent powders in. You can always watch that video on the channel if you would like, but these did turn out pretty nice. I'm not sure what happened with the bright red resin, because that art at the top there, those two hearts, I used the bright red on it, and I don't it doesn't look red to me. It looks pink, very light pink at that. So that was very interesting. So this is everything. I picked them out of the mold and I want to show you guys a close-up. This one is also bright red. Again, I'm not sure what happened. I'm just seeing little glimpses of pink in it, and of course the black backing, but I do think it turned out pretty. These are pretty. The top one is violet, and yep, pretty. These are some of the others. That dark green is giving me life. I love them. They are all so pretty. Oh, even the what's supposed to be the bright red there, those pink ones, it's so pretty. All in all, it was a successful day. I loved how most of the pieces turned out. Even for the ones that didn't turn out well, now I know. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you'd like, you can watch the other gemstone effect video as well as the other velvet effect video on the channel. And yep, I appreciate you being here. Bye!